right, I think you guys are aware I am not a professional mechanic, but despite that, I am pretty confident that this car is not supposed to be making that noise. So this car runs terrible, it sounds terrible, it even smells terrible. It just smells like raw fuel when you're running the engine. And this car is actually a viewer's car. So before you jump to conclusions, the viewer who owns this car, her name is Lily. Ha, gotcha there. And Lily is a legal immigrant from the northeastern part of India. She's probably all of 5'1" or 5'2" and around my age. And I can tell you, I went to see the car in person because it turns out she just lives a few miles away. She wanted to see what I could do to diagnose this vehicle because she has done her own spark plugs, her own coils based on the misfire codes that we're going to see. And when I went there, it was hysterical. She's standing on a bucket, leaning over the engine with her hand tools everywhere on the driveway, parts everywhere on the driveway, replacing coils and things. And she watches the videos, so she kind of knew I would want to see the ignition and stuff. And she went through a lot of trouble to try to prepare the car for me. It was pretty awesome, actually. And I wasn't really fully prepared. Based on how she described it, it sounded to me like this was going to be a fatal engine issue. I listened to it. Obviously, as you can hear, there is something internal with the engine failure. However, I did do one test, which is going to show a pretty significant surprise that you won't expect. And then I said, you know what? Maybe we do need to take a closer look at this. So wisely, Lily decided to tow the vehicle to prevent any possibility of any further damage because we are hopeful that maybe this is a little more fixable than what it sounds like. So basically the history here, she got the car brand new in 2007. It's a 2006. It was her first car after moving to the United States here. And she says around 7 years ago, the crankshaft bolt snapped. By the way, Lily is actually familiar with the sort of mechanicals of the engine, including the 4-cylinder combustion cycles and things. She's actually done quite a bit of work. She's very passionate about her love for auto repair, quite honestly. She is also a subscriber to the Schrodinger's Toolbox channel, so you should be too if she is. But anyway, she says that around 7 years ago, crankshaft bolt snapped. The engine was replaced, so I'm guessing there was some kind of major damage done with that. 100,000 miles on the car at the time of the engine replacement. They have replaced valve cover gaskets and spark plugs since then. How many miles does this car have on it? I'll be right back. Okay, the car shows about 165,000 miles on it. So between 100,000 and 165,000, I'm guessing for oil leaks or something, they had valve cover gaskets replaced, spark plugs replaced, and the belts replaced, and the timing kit replaced. That was about 2 years ago. Seems kind of early to do that. Maybe the engine was used. I'm not sure the specific history there. Then more recently, we've got a misfire on 3 and 5 with the P0300 as well. And Lily replaced her ignition coils and spark plugs. And that still did not fix it. And of course, the issue with that noise as well. So that is where we are at. So the first thing we're going to do is, I think it would be a safe bet, you would assume that this engine is shot, and we would definitely have a major compression problem. But one of the first things that I did was I did an audible compression test on the engine. Take a listen to this. Okay, now we want to be smart here. It is very obvious there is some type of an internal engine noise here. And we could do the clear flood mode crank and crank this thing over and take a listen to it. However, first of all, I don't believe, I'm not totally sure, but I don't believe that this car has a clear flood mode available on it. And second of all, whether or not it did, in the event that the clear flood mode doesn't operate or it doesn't have it, the last thing we want to do is rev this engine up really high, right? So for that reason, We really don't even want to run the engine any more than we have to, but we definitely don't want to rev this engine up high. So for that reason, we're going to play it safe, and I'm going to look for a fuel fuse here, and there's one right, no, this goes this way. Looks like we got fuel right here. All right, well, as you can hear, it does not appear, to me at least, that there is a compression imbalance on that engine. Very surprising given the nature of what you heard when it's running. So based on that, and that's as far as we are right now, based on that, Lily and I are hoping that maybe this isn't fatal after all. Whatever the issue is, it certainly sounds to me like it's probably more top end, just given the fact that it's clanking and rattling at not a very rhythmic pattern like a rod knock or something like that. So whatever the case is, that's kind of where we're going. But also, if it is a top end thing, we would expect that would definitely affect the compression on at least one cylinder, right? But it doesn't seem like it. One thing about Lily, she did say one thing she really likes about the channel. She likes the technical stuff, the technology. So I think for that reason, we will go ahead and get technical. All right, guys, we are going to use the Picoscope here, and I got a little secret for you. Picoscope, oscilloscope, not technical. Not anymore. Not anymore. It was when I first started the channel. This is how you diagnose vehicles now. Times change. You have to adapt to it. You have to change your philosophy that you can just fix a car with a wrench anymore. Everybody has this idea. You are supposed to be able to fix a car with a wrench. And if you can't, the engineering on the car is stupid. No, that is absolutely wrong. You have to adapt with technology, and this is the way to do it. This is not high tech. This is how you do a compression test in the year 2025. All right, let's go ahead and get up on here. Let's see, our positron flow is going to be this direction. All right, let's bring up Picoscope 7 and let's get you a look at the screen here. Okay, and now that some of the fuel, I think, has gotten off the cylinders, remember, we could smell raw fuel. I think there may have been an issue with some cylinder washers, something like that. It did sound a little more uneven to me that time, and I think we're actually going to see a pattern of that here. Yeah, we definitely do. Okay, so we do have some compression inequalities here. However, there may be a pattern to this. Okay, so we've got a 6-cylinder here. And what we need to do, because we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like we've got 2 cylinders that are a little bit lower. Not by much, though. Not by much. What we need to do is repeat this, and let's see if we can tie in an ignition signal with that. The coils on this vehicle are underneath these covers here, and they're not that bad to get to. You just have to take off some brackets. I do believe Lily mentioned the cylinder numbering here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the firing order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I verified that myself, and she's absolutely correct in that. So it would be easiest to get to not this side. This side's kind of a mess. But given that easy firing order, we could go over to this side, which I think is easier to access. And we want to line up an ignition signal because that pattern there is showing some irregularity and it is consistent. But it would be good to see if both of those are on the same bank. As a matter of fact, they may be, because I think that's what our codes were for. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the codes. But with all the work that Lily did, I think we may have caused a lot of codes that weren't there before. Let's see. All right, let's look at these trouble codes here. Yeah, so we did cause a lot of codes because, again, Lily dismantled the engine, but we still have, we still have the cylinder number 5 and the random misfire. Those were the original codes when I had come there. She also said that she got a cylinder number 3 as well. She had to have gotten something else because we have a random misfire code too. However, I think because of that, we are going to go ahead and take off the bank 1 coil covers and get some access on bank 1 because most likely we're going to be investigating on that side anyway, since that's where the misfires are. Lily could have accessed that quicker than I could, I'm sure, but now I remember one of the limitations here was we've got the waste spark system here. So you can see we've got the wire for the spark plug boot here, and that actually goes to a coil. The coils are on the bank 2 side of the engine, and they are waste sparks. So we'll have a little bit of a complication with this, but not much. I'm going to see if I can get an inductive pickup to detect the spark. But we also just need to keep in mind that we're going to get a spark signal there when the cylinder there is not necessarily a top dead center as well. So that is just fine though. We'll work around it. Okay, we're going to see if we can align the firing event for, that would be number 1, with our compression cycles and get some cylinder identification here. Okay, and yeah, definitely now that I listen to it more, there is a compression issue here. You know, maybe it was just different because now I'm in my garage too, but there's definitely a compression issue going on here. Not a full loss of compression as we can see on our evidence here, but definitely a concern. Zoom in here. Okay, so one of the things, obviously, it goes without saying this is going to be cylinder number 1. Now, one thing, I am not crazy where that firing event is happening there. It looks to me like that's happening after top dead center, is what that looks like. Okay, so we can obviously see that our cylinder number 1 either is going to be this one or this one. We've got our little bit lower, well, now the compressions don't look quite as uneven. That's definitely an uneven compression. So let's move over just a little bit here. And there's a low compression there. So we want to identify our numbering that makes the most sense for our known evidence that we are going to have misfires on number 5. So if that's the case, I'm going to say this would be 4, 5, 6, 1. Okay, so we've got our cylinder numbering now. That's going to be number 1, I am pretty sure. Either way that we look at it, it kind of doesn't matter because I'm not particularly crazy about where that firing event is taking place here. It looks like it's taking place after top dead center. Make sure that that is a firing line here. Hang on. Okay, yeah, it's definitely a firing event there. And it does look like it's after top dead center there. So let's pick a low one here. We're going to say that this would be number 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The problem is now if we do it this way, number 2 is showing a little bit low. And that's a problem because even if this was number 4, we would have 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. So either way we look at it, we've just got lowering of the compression there on opposite banks. And it looks like we may actually have just low compression overall here. So this is a little bit disturbing in the fact that we don't have a cylinder 2 or 4 misfire code. I saw myself when I pulled codes, we had cylinder 3 and 5 misfire and a P0300. That was what we had. this kind of doesn't seem to follow along with that. So one of the things I would like to do is see where the firing events happen on the other bank. If we had this as 1, cylinder number 2 would be here. And let's see where the firing event takes place on that bank, just to check for a timing issue here. Okay, note to Lily's husband, if you're watching this, Christmas is around the corner. Get Lily one of these AC Delco 3/8" battery-powered ratchets. You can see a review of this on Schrodinger's Toolbox. If you get this for Lily, she will have the best Christmas ever. Okay, what the hell? I literally watched this lady take this cover off in minutes. Oh, right up here. All right. Okay, Lily, seriously, how did you get this cover out of here? She's watching like, oh my God, let me just do it. There we go. Okay. All right, so number 2, we can see, by the way, brand new coils here. The coils are new, the ignition wires are new, the spark plugs are new. Lily did all that herself. Okay, so now that we got number 2 here, yeah, we can totally pull back this wire insulation here, and we can get a current pickup on that real easy with a current probe. Okay, so we got a current clamp. I just happen to have it around the negative here. We could have as easily gone around the positive. Doesn't matter on current. We could have also, because this is a 3-wire ignition, I don't know if Lily's a member of my paid channel or not, but if so, she would know that we could have done the 3rd wire for a signal input there. We could have done that as well, but the current clamp just seems easiest. All right, let's go ahead and crank this over and look at our data. Okay, I don't think I got my signal in there. No, yes I do. I can see it. All right. So that did work. Very nice. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this. Okay, if we look, this is where our spark is going to happen, right there. This is the peak of our compression. And it does appear to me, while this may be right at top dead center, if not only extremely slightly after, this definitely looks like this spark, because remember, the spark happens when we turn off the coil. This will be the coil turning off. This is the coil turning on right here. And then we've got our dwell time. When the coil turns off, the spark happens. And I'm going to say that that's happening earlier than what we see on bank 1. We would have to do this again to compare, but I am pretty confident of that. I think we probably have a timing issue on this car. And I think what we're going to do is let me get, it looks like on the left side of the engine, bank 2 here, we can get the timing cover off. And at least maybe we can take a look there. Getting the timing cover off of bank 1, this timing cover right here is going to be a major problem, because we've got all the support brackets for the accessories right in front of that. But it looks like, I think we can get this timing cover off of bank 2 right here. So let me go ahead and get that off. All right, coax this thing out here. There we go. Okay. Oh, well, look at that. Look at that. That timing belt is really loose. I can move this cam back even. Look at that. Yeah, that is not appropriate tension on a timing belt. So what we're going to do, let's briefly run this engine. Let's take a look at that. Okay. You can see right here, That timing belt is dancing all over the place. Especially right in there. Right there. Okay, well, we obviously have some type of timing component failure that has happened. It turns out this noise almost certainly isn't actually internal in the engine, but more external on the timing component area. I think what we're hearing is the belt here rattling up against something, or whatever is broken is rattling around in there. But this is definitely a timing problem. Now, the thing is, if we fix whatever is broken with the timing, is this engine going to be okay? In other words, could we have bent a valve or something like that? Could we have had some engine damage if this is an interference engine and this timing issue here may have caused the piston to come in contact with the valve or something? And I'm going to say most definitely not, because we can see that there is pretty good compression. And what I'm seeing here, I believe this compression is more than close enough that I believe this is just timing related. Right there. I am confident that that isn't the result of a bent valve or something like that, or a hole poked through the piston or something like that. I'm pretty confident of that, because it just isn't that far away from what would be undamaged cylinders. As a matter of fact, I have seen cars that have compression patterns that look like this with normal timing. So I am really not even concerned about it. I believe if we fix this timing issue, whatever's broken in there, Lily will get her car back. I am pretty sure of that. So what we need to do is, now Lily's going to be jealous, because now we got to take everything apart. It's a pretty major repair here, but I'm dying to see what's broken in there.